What is going on, people? Joey Talks Boxing. Obviously, the biggest news in boxing, Canelo and Benavidez not happening. I'm just going to say it straight out. Canelo Alvarez is ducking David Benavidez. I know that Rick Glazer, who's been on this show and done an amazing job with what he's been saying, said that Benavidez doesn't want the fight either. That may be true. At this point, David Benavidez does not want the fight because he cannot make the weight anymore. Canelo never wanted this fight. He never wanted it. And it makes me wonder if Benavidez didn't lose the title twice. Once on the scale and the other time with the cocaine. The first time I think was the cocaine test where he failed for cocaine, tested positive for cocaine. And he had a belt back then. Would Canelo have fought him? Because he fought Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, and Callum Smith. The bottom line is this. If Canelo wanted to do this fight, he tells PBC, make Benavidez next. And I think they would be able to do it. He didn't want that. He wanted Charlo next. He wanted an easy $35 million. And, I know it's not easy. It's still a fight. It's boxing. I get it. Like, you still have to earn it. But an easier $35 million. And then maybe he'll fight, Benavidez after that. I just don't think he wanted the fight. And I think his standing will hurt. And I want to be clear. I don't know if it's that Canelo is necessarily afraid of David Benavidez from an in-the-ring standpoint. I think he's afraid of losing his fan base to David Benavidez because he knows a lot of Canelo fans are going to be David Benavidez fans. Now, people will say, well, why isn't he afraid of losing his fan base to Jaime Munguia? Because that's a fight where he knows he's almost certainly going to win. Munguia is not that skilled. Munguia, he has a lot of size. He has a lot of toughness. He's durable. He's got power. He's exciting, but he's defensively very flawed. Way more so than Benavidez. I know a lot of people critique Benavidez's technique, but Benavidez is much faster. He's a much better combination puncher. He's just a much better overall fighter. But I thought you couldn't fight Mexicans. You didn't want to fight another Mexican. But then you fight Jaime Munguia. So, listen, Canelo's at the stage in his career where we get it. You can pick who you want. You're still going to do big numbers. You're still going to make big money. You did all that. But do I respect it? No. Is he a true champion? No. And that's it, man. I mean, period, And, people will say, well, what about Floyd? Yeah, Floyd did some of this too. He did some cherry picking too at the end of his career. But the difference is that Floyd never didn't fight someone who the public wanted him to fight this badly. He never ducked someone who is this clearly deserving. I mean, does Canelo's position suffer from this? I think so. I think a lot more people aren't going to say he's the greatest Mexican of all time. I think it's debatable with him and Chavez. Honestly, I think his resume is a little bit better than Chavez's, but it is very close. And I think something like this could potentially tilt the scale one way or the other. But I don't think Canelo's afraid of losing. I think Canelo's afraid of that, the fan base. He probably would rather fight Bivol again than to go and fight, Benavidez at super middleweight. But it is what it is. It's disappointing. This is boxing. We don't get what we want a lot of the time. And that's why, by the way, people like Jake Paul are able to ascend in boxing. Because whatever you want to say about Jake Paul, he fights consistently and he fights people that people are interested in fighting. I don't know what he's doing now with all this, fighting these, pro boxers who no one ever heard of. But, yeah, that's how I feel about it. I think that Canelo, these last few years, has been exposed as someone who fights for the money and the positioning, but not for his legacy and standing in. That's okay if you want to be straight up about it. I understand it. It's a business. You want to fight. That's why I respect Mayweather. He's like, I don't fight for legacy. I just care about money. Even though I don't completely buy that all the way, but I can at least respect that he claimed that, he tried to, sell that. He said that I only care about money when he takes bigger money fights that nobody wants to see. Not nobody, though. Boxing, hardcore public doesn't want to see. When Canelo Alvarez said, I'm all about legacy, it's not about that, because, they want him to fight Masvidal DAZN back a few years ago and do these kind of cross fights. He's like, I'm not doing that. I want to win these titles. I was like, all right, cool. After the Bivol fight, I noticed a shift in his mentality, which was, I care about legacy, but I also care about being the man in boxing. And he knew if you do another Bivol loss, his status takes a bigger hit. So what do? He fights Triple G next on a third fight with Triple G's older, moving Triple G up from 160 to 168. Nobody even cared about that. Like, most of the casual fans probably didn't even realize that. If you're all about legacy, why aren't you fighting Bivol in the rematch? Why are you fighting Triple G in the third time? How does that help your legacy? Then why don't you fight Bivol after that? Like, oh, it's John Ryder. He's a mandatory. Okay. Then after that, why don't you fight Benavidez if you're with PBC? Now he wants to fight Charlo. No, but that Charlo, he's got some personal problems, Jermell Charlo, so we're going to fight the brother, Jermell Charlo. We're going to put it as champion versus champion. 54 Charlo over 68 Canelo. We're going to say champion versus champion. It's just all a trick to see how to take the least possible risk and make the most amount of money. And that's the same thing that a lot of Canelo fans criticize Floyd Mayweather for. So they're one and the same in a lot of ways. But anyways, that's what I got to say. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.